Good evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of TheCaliEffect, King of Games, and today we are playing South. I had to bring this deck back because it is awesome. I never thought that this deck would be so good. Hey, I didn't even think that this deck would be able to rival the competitiveness that Blue Eyes White Dragon brings to the table, but it does. This deck is really good. Dark Magician's post-legendary dragon decks is a really fun deck to play. I think it's an extraordinarily awesome deck. As you guys can see, I activate Pot of Desires, banishing 10 cards from the top of my deck. It doesn't really matter as long as you gain those 2+ cards to continue with your combos. In this hand, you have double Apprentice and double Dark Magician with double Navigation that is going to be added to my hand through the effects of Dark Magician Circle. And the best thing about this is that Twin Twisters isn't seeing as much play because it isn't a good Pendulum Magician matchup. So you're only going to have to deal with Cosmic Cyclone. The problem with Cosmic Cyclone is that they can Cyclone one of your cards, but you're typically going to have the other. So if they Cyclone your Dark Magical Circle, you still get to keep your Dark Magician's Navigation and activate it at will. And that's a pivotal effect because it can activate itself in the graveyard. A lot of great things going on with Dark Magician, but the more important thing is the reprint of Apprentice Illusion Magician. Didn't think that this card would be this important to the deck. Being able to special summon herself by discarding a card and then adding a Dark Magician if you can from your deck to your hand is just saucy. But more important, she's not restrictive to once per turn. You can summon as many copies as her as possible. And the fact that she's a hand trap in her own right is just, man, this deck's just sauce. It's too strong. I think you guys actually should be Dark Magic attacking that subscribe button. And if you guys already have, then you probably should be Dark Magical circling that notification gang. Because like I said, man, we just too strong. Against the ABCs, we're going to be having a Pot of Desires fight. I'm going to Desires my 10. He's going to Desires his 10. I'm going to activate Eternal Soul, and he's going to Twin Twisters me. And I'm like, huh. That's what it's like to have Twin Twisters against you. Nevertheless, Dark Magical Inheritance is going to add another copy of Dark Magical Circle, searching another Eternal Soul. So it's almost like he did nothing to me. I'm in the game. I'm going to set my Dark Magical Circle and my Inheritance face down and pass my turn, saying that he might be able to blind Twin Twisters. Him hitting the Magical Circle and the Inheritance, or the Eternal Soul and the Inheritance, wouldn't be that good. He's going to go ahead and Twin Twisters me again, but the Dark Magical Inheritance gets there, and instead of adding another circle, since I did banish one with Pot of Desires, I'm going to go ahead and add the Navigation. He's going to summon B Buster Drake and perhaps make an XE play. I'm not really seeing he can't make Bushintai Tsukiyomi, he can't make Geargagan X, but Tornado Dragon does come into play. I'm going to try to damage step, activate a Princess Illusion Magician, and it's going to get Solemn Struck. The reason why I didn't activate Robe is because I can activate it anytime after I activate Navigation. Navigation is going to summon my monsters. He's going to Floodgate Trap Hole. I'm going to activate Illusion and Robe. So I'm still able to search and send, but he's going to Solemn Strike the Robe. God, you got all the answers. But unfortunately, you couldn't stop Dark Magician summoning into Dark Magician Dragon Knight. This card is freaking awesome. The next best thing about this card is that it's treated as Dark Magician on the field, so I can't activate cards like Navigation from the graveyard to stop his Raigeki. On to the game that you guys have been wanting to see, Dark Magician versus True Draco, TheCaliEffect. How does this deck stand up against the meta? Well, as you guys can see, I'm going to go first, activating Rod to add Dark Magic Illusion to search absolutely nothing. I mean, I didn't get anything out of that. Then I'm going to set Eternal Soul and pass my turn. I can't add, so it's like, And also, I do have a good plan going on. He's going to special summon Ice Bell for Glass Bell, and then he's going to add Snow Bell to his hand, special summon the Snow Bell. We're not going to stop or banish the Crystal Wing because we want to wait. He's going to activate Heritage and then tribute it for a Draco monster. And I'm like, what kind of Draco monster is this? He's going to summon the Winter Bell. I'm going to pay 1,500 life points and then activate Illusion. Now, keep in mind, Illusion's effect does activate in a separate chain, so you can't activate counter trap cards and then trigger your Illusion afterwards. That's how Illusion works. Since Illusion is a Dark Magician monster that was summoned, I was able to banish his Draco Slayer monster. And now I have a Dark Magician on my side of the field. He has nothing but a Winter Bell. He was trying to set up with some True Draco Crystal Wing bullshit. I'm like, nah, Nah, I'm not feeling that. He's going to instant fusion Rage It and then set it face down. I'm going to go ahead and activate Pot of Desires because banishing 10 cards to draw 2 is never a bad thing in this deck. Next, we're going to Itemized Magician's Illusions for Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, and this card is really good. Unfortunately, I don't know why I didn't trigger the effect of Magician's Illusion because it is Dark Magician while face up on the field. Would have used that to destroy a card, but this deck is that powerful. It is able to combat True Draco as long as you can continuously banish their cards. So the Magician's Illusion is going to search 2 Dark Magicians, and I have the Magician Navigation in my hand for anytime banishment. This is just really good. He can't even destroy my back row with his spells. Let's get you guys to the deck profile. Dark Magician was a very fun deck to play. This deck can actually be competitive. I'm feeling it. It has so many new tricks up its sleeve. Get it? Dark Magician tricks? Whatever, for them. Let's just get into the deck profile. 3 copies of Dark Magician. I mean, come on, this card is iconic. It started Yu-Gi-Oh! And who would say that Dark Magician would be competitive in 2017? This card is the basis. You need it because it has Dark Magician in its name throughout the deck, field, and graveyard. Just a really important card. 3 copies of Magician of, yeah, I said it right. Magician of Dark Illusion. This card's really good, but if you're not feeling it, 2 copies wouldn't really hurt. The best thing about its effect is that it can be special summoned by activating a spell or trap card on your opponent's turn. Furthermore, if another card effect is activated, you can special summon a Dark Magician to your side of the field. It also becomes Dark Magician while on the field and graveyard. Psh, how can you not want to run this card? It's really good at applying pressure and for free Exceed plays. Next is a Printed Illusion Magician. This card being reprinted made the deck immediately accessible for all players. I mean that and along with every other reprint that was in the box set. But this card, upon summoning yourself, allows you to add a Dark Magician from your deck to your hand. That is the main reason, or one of the biggest reasons why I decided to play her at 3. I want to see her as fast as possible. But the next most important thing is that she's an honest to dark spellcaster monsters, giving them 2,000 attack. Too much sauce. Next is 3 copies of Magician's Rod. Upon his summon, you get to search a Magician spell or trap card from your deck or your hand, or a card that lists Dark Magician in its name from your deck or your hand. Card's really good. 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I feel like this is the only good hand trap right now. But for the people that can't afford Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, don't worry, TheCaliEffect feels your struggles. You could drop them and play another copy of Magician's Robe, 1 more copy of Magician's Navigation, and I mean, I don't know, I guess Maxi or something. I really don't. Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer is a really good card. But this card's nasty good. Magician's Robe, I only run 1 copy. I used to run 2 copies. It's a really good card. The reason why I only run 1 is because of space, but it allows you to tutor Dark Magician from your deck to your side of the field by discarding a spell or a trap. We have an abundance of spells and traps, seeing that we only play 16 monsters. Furthermore, it can summon itself from the graveyard. All you have to do is activate a spell or trap on your opponent's turn. It's easy. 3 copies of the main spell of the deck is Dark Magician Circle. Okay, so upon its activation, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add a Dark Magician, a card that specifically lists Dark Magician in its name. Keep in mind, it has to say Dark Magician, not Dark Magician Monster. The next thing is the most important effect is when we summon a Dark Magician once per turn, you can banish a card on the field. That card's awesome, like, God, this is the reason why the deck's so good. Just allowing interaction on your opponent's turn before they can make moves. I'm just going to call it Zodiac Dryden, Artifact Moral Attack Destruction card. It's really good, and it banishes. 3 copies of Eye of Timaeus. Oh, actually, before we even get to this, I want to talk about another thing. Since hand traps are not that good, Ghost Ogre isn't being played a lot, so yeah. Eye of Timaeus is a well-welcome card because it morphs Dark Magician into all of its fusions, including the new fusion. I actually was going to play Hexil Fusion, then I thought about playing Dragons, and then I thought about playing some weird Odd Eyes build that just didn't work out. But I thought that Eye of Timaeus, or I felt after testing that Eye of Timaeus was the best viable card. The only problem with Eye of Timaeus is searching it. It's impossible unless you play cards like Left Arm Offering. But that's okay. We just draw into it like normal people. And that's why we run 3. 2 copies of Pot of Desires. This card allows you to dig deeper into your strategy. We play just about 3 of everything, so banishing 1 or 2 copies normally doesn't hurt. Dark Magician is easily searched before we Pot of Desires through illusion magic by tributing a spellcaster monster, getting your ball on the roll. That's actually the only card I really don't want Desires of 3 of. 2 copies of Pot of Duality. The only monster that special summons on our turn is a Printed Illusion Magician. We can also use Eternal Soul, but this card is really good at opening or getting into the cards that we need. Worst case scenario, you pitch it for Rogue. 2 copies of Dark Magic Inheritance. I would play 3, but we don't run enough spell cards to be sent to the graveyard immediately on turn 1 for a Dark Magic Inheritance to be live. It's still an awesome card. By banishing spell cards, you can search Dark Magician cards. Psh, sauce. And then 1 copy of Dark Magic Attack. Who wouldn't want a DMG or DMA? Who wouldn't want to DMA your opponent on 5 back row? I mean, I should probably side another one. 3 copies of Eternal Soul for traps. This is the soul of the deck. Get it? No? Because the other one was the heart and this is the soul. What it allows you to do is search Dark Magic Attack or special summon Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard to your side of the field once per turn. Really good. Also makes your Dark Magician unaffected by card effects, so just thought I should mention that. 3 copies of Solemn Strike. This is my answer to Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I have struck so many Ash Blossoms in Joyous Spring, it doesn't even matter anymore. That's what this card's really for. But if your opponent can't afford Ash Blossoms and Joyous Spring, then you strike just about everything else. 2 copies of Magician's Navigation. I was heartbroken to play it at 2, but seeing that it's so reliant on Dark Magician and no other cards, you gotta make some sacrifices. And then Solemn Warning, because 2,000 life points don't really mean anything to get what you're getting out of that. That's it for the main deck at 40. For the extra deck, 1 copy of Ebon Illusion Magician. We don't have Magic Girl yet, and I didn't feel that there was enough great 6s, or we didn't even play a lot of 6s to merit playing any other 6s. So Ebon by itself is still good, being able to special summon Dark Magician from your deck to your side of the field, and then being able to destroy cards when your normal monsters attacks. Ebon the High Magician is also another awesome card, allowing you to activate spells and traps from your hand and then replacing itself when it's destroyed by an opponent's card effect or battle. Number 42, Galaxy Tomahawk, is amazing for link plays. That's the reason why we play it, free link plays. Number 11, Big Eye, for when I want to take your bitch, I take her out on a stroll and never give her back. If you have the same sleeves as me, you ain't never getting her back. And okay, I might give her back. I'm not a thief. 1 copy of Gaia Dragon the Thunder Charger. This card actually came up in a couple of situations. It inflicts piercing damage, and we just actually normally exceed something for it. It's not that bad. 1 copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack. Some awesome spot removal in the form of an indestructible 2600 attack monster. That's good. 1 copy of number 74 Master Blades. I feel like this card is really underrated, but the biggest reason for it being underrated is that it's an Exceed 7. Those don't come by often. Master of Blades not only prevents targeting, I'm looking at you, you know, diagramming, you're destroying Apocalypse and stuff like that. I'm also looking at you, Paleo. It punishes the opponent for even thinking about it by destroying an additional card on the field. Gaia Saber, I would probably play 2 now that I think about it. It's just a really solid card. Beako Bulker, it requires a lot of getting around to get to, but when you make it, you make it. Proxy Dragon and Link Spider are our Link monsters that we summon with number, what is it, 46? Number 42. That is it for Link monsters. For fusion monsters, Amulet Dragon comes up a lot. Being able to make him really strong by banishing spell cards, that's good. But when it's destroyed, it replaces itself? You can't ask more than that. 2 copies of, or I'm sorry, 1 copy of Dark Paladin. I never thought that Dark Paladin would be seen in a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Never. But its effect to destroy or negate spell cards, I like stopping terraformings and diagrams. I also like stopping pendulum graphs and Duelist Alliance. It's a pretty good card. And it gets 500 attack for every dragon. That actually comes up against Blue Eyes. 2 copies of Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. This is what everyone has been raving over. Alright, so first of all, your opponent can't touch your back row. Nextly, it's unaffected by card effects if you have Eternal Soul. And thirdly, it's Dark Magician while on the field in the graveyard. Imagine this card keep coming back, or you know, the recursion of this card continuously to pressure your opponent. More often than not, you're going to win. That's it for the extra deck. I mean, you know, it's 15. For the side deck, I know TheCaliEffect's going to do a side deck. We're going to start off with, there's 3 great decks, Amber. Tell me one. True Draco? Going first against True Draco, just play the Galaxy Cyclones. Going second against True Draco, Drolin Locks are pretty good. But we actually play the 3rd Drolin Lock. I'll tell you guys about that later. Going against Paleo, actually, let me just show you the guys. So 3 copies of Cyclone, 3 copies of Drolin Lock, 3 copies of D-Barrier. I feel like these 9 cards are practically what should make up every side deck, if not already in the main deck. They hit so many decks. Actually, they hit all of the tier decks, being Paleo, Trickstar, and what's that other deck? Paleo, Trickstar, and True Draco. These combination of cards hit all 3 of those decks in some way, shape, or form, going first and going second. Next is 3 copies of Cypher Gear Gamma. I think my biggest problem with this deck is going against hand traps, specifically Ash Blossom. So Cypher Gear Gamma is really good, and then you play the one Cypher Gear, the Cypher Driver, and then 2 copies of the Kaiju Gam Seal. Going against True Draco is going second. You could play the Trolling Locks, or you could play the Trolling Locks and the Gam Seals. You just have to like mix it up. So, you know, it really depends on the matchup. If you're playing against like pure True Draco, Gamma Seals are, you know, you don't have to worry about Masterpiece. I mean, y'all don't really care about you searching. I just don't want to worry about Masterpiece. If you're playing against some really spicy build that searches a lot, go with the Trolling Locks. But like I was saying, the principle of 5, you know what, I'll just talk about that later. You guys will see that in the video. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.